who wouldn't want to stay here forever? We love being in the River Dart, but we have stuff to do. We need to get on to France. We need to press on. We've got an important delivery arriving. So we're moving Ocean Melody round to Torquay, to the marina, so that we can get a few things aboard easier than we can using the dinghy. That'll probably coming up next week. So today I've got Chris with me and I've got Jack with me to sail around to Torquay. The stack packs are off, look, because Melissa has got those up at Elaine's, doing some sewing to those, and I think I can just hear Jack and Chris coming back with a drum of water, and they've got rid of the rubbish, the garbage, so we're pretty much good to go. Can you manage that, Jack?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Dearest Chip here is putting the dinghy on the, well, getting the dinghy all bridled up to be put on the deck. That's it. It is a lovely day in Dartmouth, is it not?
Hang on. We're going to
Torquay.
Torquay. Chris is on the helm. It should be a very benign day. We're leaving the Dart again. It feels like home now, because this is obviously where we bought Ocean Melody. Was in the River Dart at Gampton, and it's just splendid, isn't it? What a lovely place. Some gorgeous boats here, and we'll be back here before we actually go across the channel. I think we're only going to Torquay, you know, just for a few days, I think, just to pick up a delivery and then you know, fill up the tanks, because we've been off grid now for over a month. Putting our jackets on because
It's chilly.
it's cold, and as soon as we get out of the shelter of the river, it's going to be really cold. And there's nothing worse than getting cold and then everything's kind of getting a bit hectic and you haven't got time to put a jacket on, and then you get really cold. This is Kingswear. It's lovely, isn't it? Kingswear. That's Dartmouth over that side, and that's Kingswear over that side. Lovely, eh? Once again, we have left the River Dart. Jack is on the helm and Chris's watchful eye. We've got the Western Lady ferry here coming in from Torquay and Brixham, and we're going to be heading that direction ourselves. So what we're going to do, Jack's going to take us out a good way, and then we're going to head up into wind, raise all the sails, and I think it's going to be a nice slow day. But because we've got all day ahead of us, we've got out with plenty of time. High tide is you know, 7 o'clock this evening. We've got all day to do this, so we're just going to have a play with the boat and really enjoy ourselves, get the engine off, and if we end up sailing at 2 knots, great. I've just said we're going to sail very slowly. Well, we might, but I've just been and looked, and there's only 7 knots of wind. So we might be sailing very slowly, if that's the case. So we might motor sail, but it's you know, we've got all day. I just want to enjoy being out here.
Frantically sewing before Andy comes back to get me. This is the stack pack that we've taken off the boat, and when I made it a bit too tight. I don't know if you remember back in Deganway when I fitted it, I was very upset. It does up, but it's a lot of effort to do the zip up, and you have to climb all over it to get it done up, and we ended up not doing it up because it was such hard work. So I have created a panel with a zip in, and I'm actually leaving the original zip in because eventually as the sail gets older it will compress and it will become smaller, so then I can just take this panel off that I'm sewing on. And I would also like, if I get time, to add some orange to the stack pack. The problem is it's 4.5 metres of fabric and it's really heavy and awkward.
Having the dinghy on the foredeck is fine, but it really impedes your view forwards, and it's just a pain in the bum when you need to move up and down the boat. So I really want to get some davits, even if they're just the bent tubular steel ones. Those big ugly things I had before, Melissa wouldn't have those. I put them on the boat and she was like, no, get them off, they look horrible. And Dave, our stainless guy, was, you know, appalled by them. So we're not using those, in fact they've gone. But I wouldn't mind some bent tubular ones that fold inwards, so you can keep your your length overall down and then swing them out when you want to use them, because it is a huge pain in the bum having the dinghy on the foredeck. Well, that's not working, is it? As good as our precision sails Genoa is, there is 2.5 knots of wind now. There's not many boats that will sail in 2.5 knots of wind. I may actually just opt for not sailing because it's sort of pointless, isn't it? Look at Chris's face, trying to figure out how to make the mainsail do something. Those are flappy sails, they are not happy sails. So, you know, there's not a fat lot we can do in this wind. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that pole. Because that's just stupid. And then I think we'll have a cup of tea and assess the situation. 1.3 knots of wind. Well, you don't technically have a reverse on a sailing boat under sail. You can do it, you can sail backwards. And here is a professional demonstration of how backward sailing is possible. We just had our sails up, the engine off for a little while, and as you can see by our, oh, that's pointing in the wrong direction, but as you can see by these black lines, we actually sailed backwards for about 10-15 minutes. Now that takes true skill. That's true seamanship, that is, to sail backwards for half an hour. If you know anybody else who can do that, I'd like to see it. So you're welcome. That was a fantastic demonstration of backward sailing. But you know, all good things have to come to an end. So we've put the engine back on and we're pressing on, because we wouldn't get there until midnight if we sailed backwards. In fact, we'd have to sail backwards the whole way around the world and get to Torquay that way, which we could do. You know, we do have the skill, we have the ability. We've had absolutely no wind at all. Best wind we've seen is 3.5 knots. So we are plugging on with the motor. Coming in behind us is a whole load of rolling mist or fog type stuff, and it's not far across the bay to Torbay to Torquay. But if the fog rolls in, we'll nip into Brixham instead of going into Torquay, because it'll just be a little bit safer, I think. And it's the same deal whether you're in Brixham or Torquay. You can stay there for a week for about 140 quid for us. So it makes no odds to us whether we're in Brixham or Torquay. The only difference is Torquay has got showers and Brixham doesn't. So I'd like to get to Torquay if we can, but Brixham, and that's why whenever we're sailing out, we always sort of have an idea of where we want to get to, and then sort of bail out points, you know, secondary ports where we can go if conditions change and you have to make a last minute decision. Now, when I said I was going to come and move the boat, and I asked Jack if he wanted to come with me, he said he jumped at the chance, and I thought he was going to come and help sail, but it turns out he only wanted to come because he'd got an Airfix model here that he wanted to get stuck into.
What are they, Dad? It's the fit's not great, but it's a mid-25.
Jack's in there building Airfix models from the 80s, which is no bad thing, but yeah, that was waiting for him on the boat, which is the real reason why he wanted to come and help sail. So much for helping his dear old dad. It's very frustrating not being able to sail. The wind is picking up, but so far the biscuits are the highlight of the journey. We're actually sailing, heading up into Torbay. Engine is not off, but it will be in a minute. It's just out of gear and ticking over until we see how much the speed drops. But for goodness sake, I hate motoring everywhere. But you know, when there's no wind, when there's 2 knots of wind, what are you going to do? Right, so yeah, good. We've got probably another hour or so, maybe an hour and a half to go. Just and with nice steady afternoon sail in. Jack's on the helm.
Hello.
Chris is fiddling with the main sheet and the jib sheets, and it's very nice now. It's gone very grey, and I think we're going to get torrential rain in about an hour, don't you, Chris?
It looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be torrential rain. So we'll get all the cockpit enclosure zipped up then, but at the moment we've just got the sides all off so that we can you know, get a bit of fresh air. And Melissa hasn't finished the little Velcro hoops to hold the windows up when you roll them up, but we found all you need to do is roll them up and tuck them underneath the solar panel on the top, and it's like, there you go, job done. I reckon I've caught a lot of kelp. I don't think that's a fish. What? It's not fighting like a fish. It's fighting like seaweed.
Ah.
with our venture. Just waiting to depart. Got the last few sailors coming in now, then we'll be away. Yeah, Dock Venture, she's Toi Town Harbour, that's no problem, sir. Stand on time, we'll come out.
She's into him, possibly.
Here we are again in Torquay then, we're on the town harbour. So, back to the Midlands to fetch Melissa and Ollie. The boat is all good, dinghy's on the foredeck, everything's good, we're tied up nicely. Thank you very much for your help, Chris.
No problem, anytime.
Did you have a good trip, Jack?
Yeah, it's very delightful.
Yeah, and it was very uneventful, it was a nice little day sail.
Hello, Dancer.
Went to Rada, you know. So this that we're walking along now is Toi Town Dock, and when we came in last night there was no space on it, and there's no space on it now, but I'm just going to nip back up to the Midlands, as you know, pick up Melissa and Ollie, and then we'll be back, and then I'll probably, as soon as there's a space, move round onto here, because the problem is at the end of the pontoon where we are, there's no power and no electric and no water, so it would be nice to charge up and fill our tanks. So we'll move around here, fill up and charge up, do a few bits and pieces, and then we'll be off again. But yeah, this is exciting stuff, isn't it? Some good sailing stories. What boats are these? Squibs. Lovely. Squib sailing. Right, and it's starting to rain, so we've just taken, as you can see, we've got a trolley full of stuff, which is one of the deliveries that we've come here to take delivery of. You'll see what they are in the next, probably next week or the week after. But we've got some heavy stuff to get on board before we disappear, which we had delivered to Mike and Jane's, and we've managed to bring down in a trolley. Much easier to get heavy stuff like this onto the boat from the pontoon than it is trying to hoik it up out of a dinghy.
I see something like that.
Yeah. Stick that on the saloon floor. Yep. Very much. Job's a good one. Delivery 1 loaded successfully onto Ocean Melody. I'm going to need to get my hair cut. Look at that, it's horrible. Delivery 2 coming when we come back down. Fantastic. Right, let's get back to the Midlands then. Here's Melissa, I've been and fetched her.
Yeah.
Here's Jack and Ollie.
Yeah.
We've been and fetched them. And our other special delivery has actually arrived on Father's Day. So the other special...
Earlier than expected.
Yeah, earlier than expected. Here's the other special delivery.